How would you like to solve pretty much all of the problems that plague Facebook advertising? You know what I'm talking about. High cost per click, low conversions, ads not staying profitable for long, and so on. Well, that is exactly what my guest today will be revealing in this episode of the Monetizers show. I'm O Dowd, and this is the show that brings you the hottest profit-producing tactics, strategies, and secrets from the greatest advertisers and marketers in the world. My guest today is one of the top Facebook advertisers in the world. He is none other than Curt Maly, and his unique, systematic approach to testing, scaling, and making Facebook ads profitable is, in my humble opinion, absolutely outstanding. Curt, thanks so much for doing this, man, and welcome to the show.
Absolutely. I love your brand. I love the stuff you've done over the years. So when you asked me to do this, yes, I didn't have to pause. Yes, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, it's interesting. I've known about you for so long. It's crazy to think that we didn't work together, but I definitely have worked with people who have worked with you, and you always have an outstanding reputation in the industry, and somebody who's just widely considered to be a major player in the game. So it's an honor to have you here, man.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to dive in. So if I get super excited, cut me off at any time. I love this type of stuff. So yeah, let's dive into this stuff.
Well, I definitely love to, eventually, talk about some of the trainings that you do. And I know that you have an agency as well, but how about we take it from the top, man? How about we start by, who's Curt Maly and how did you get into the game and what is it that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing this almost 20 years, actually, I think 18 years at this point. So my name's Curt Maly. I live in Austin, Texas. And back in 2007, 2008, in the real estate market here in the US, the market was going like that. Well, that's what I bought into. The market was actually going like that. I'm the sucker who made a lot of people a lot of money. And essentially, as the real estate market started to take a turn, I just took a bunch of my advertising skills that I've been doing in real estate and try to kind of do it just more online, but for other people. And by just kind of coincidences, the way stuff happens, within just 6 weeks of me starting that small marketing company, I was on a radio show with a guy named Mike Dillard. He's done over 65 million online in sales. We built a really quick friendship. And then he introduced me to somebody by the name of David Gonzalez, which has this party called the Internet Marketing Party here in Austin. It's like the center of the universe for a lot of us marketers. And I started going to that party on a regular basis, started running some Facebook ads. And now we've run ads for like San Antonio Spurs, Russell Brunson when he first came up with ClickFunnels, Eben Pagan, Frank Kern's been a client. I can go on. But we really specialize as a Facebook ad agency. And about 10 years ago, I partnered up with my younger brother. And we do a lot of traditional stuff as well, too. Radio, TV, billboard, direct response, direct mail. So, all things marketing. I love this Facebook stuff. I love to dive into that. So kind of to make this, put a bow on it, is we have courses we teach people. We do some one-on-one coaching, and then we have a full agency. So I run ads for my own course, practice what I preach, and just absolutely love this stuff.
Awesome. So for everybody listening, the reason why I invited Curt on to the show, apart from just his long-standing awesome reputation in the industry, is because, I actually purchased one of your training programs there recently, Curt, and have been going through it and absolutely love it.
Thank you.
We'll perhaps talk about that at the end of the interview here, but. You're a major advocate of micro budgeting on Facebook. How about we take a minute to talk a little bit about the difference between micro budgeting and pretty much how everybody else is doing Facebook advertising these days?
Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of jump right on into this. So the way that the Facebook algorithm specifically works is Facebook's really looking for high relevance. That's the main thing. So there's all these bid techniques, there's all these scaling techniques, but at the end of the day, especially with all the AI automation that Meta's coming out with, it's all about relevance. So the way that the auction actually works is you're going to go ahead and place, let's just say you're going to run a conversion ad, a purchase conversion ad. So all of a sudden that's going to set, okay, you want to run a purchase conversion ad, you want to reach people who are ready to buy. So does everyone else. Then the next thing is you're going to choose your target. So I want to target entrepreneurs. Now it's going to set a cost, basically my CPM cost. Now what's going to happen, just to show my ad. Now what's going to happen is as I put my creative in and I submit it to Meta, What Meta is going to do is they're going to look into their crystal ball and they're going to predict what my ad may or may not do. Will people engage with it? Will they read on it? Facebook wants you to make sales. What Facebook and get leads. What Facebook wants you to do is to have a highly relevant ad where somebody reads the ad or watches the ad, clicks on the ad, goes to your landing page, and then becomes, let's just say in this case, a purchase conversion becomes a sale. So Facebook's going to look in their crystal ball and kind of figure out, okay, is this ad going to be, how many people should we serve it to? How relevant is it going to be? And then Facebook actually looks at your ad saying, okay, what actually happened? Did people click on it? Did they engage on it? Did they click that little X that says, hey, this isn't relevant, which hurts a lot of marketers? What happens with the actual ad itself? If it's relevant, if people are reading, if people are clicking, then Facebook's going to show the ad to more people. You're going to start to see more conversions. Well, Caleb, to go back into what you had mentioned, what a lot of other advertisers do, they say, all right, let's let her rip. Let's go ahead and set up $150 for a budget. I'm going to go ahead and test a top of funnel, a cold market, $150 to one creative. Let's run it for 5 days. I'm a really big advocate that actually, if we understand our baseline numbers, we can actually start budgets at $10, $20 a day. And within 2.5 days, I can stop the budgets. And here's the way why. I'll give you a high level example. I'm happy to answer any questions around this. So let's just say that we start running an ad for an upcoming webinar that you have. Let's say that we start 5 $20 a day micro budget campaigns. So each one is $20 a day. We're just going to run one ad creative or one audience to one ad creative, and we're going to see how it works. We're going to do that 5 times. Now, if someone clicks on my ad and it's a $10 click to my landing page, okay, well, how are the other 4 doing? Well, if these other 4 are getting clicks to my landing page for $5, this one's 10, I don't have to spend $150 at a $10 website click to know this isn't going to work. So I can turn this off early. Within $40, I can turn it off early. Now I see all of these clicks are getting $5. I can see all these are getting $5 website clicks. If that consistently performs, I'll start to see leads come through. I believe you can use smaller budgets like $1 a day or $20 a day for conversion ads, get early signals to what I just mentioned, and within 2 to 3 days, know if the ad creative and audience is going to work. So I do 2 things. If it doesn't work, I turn it off. If it does work, I duplicate it. And I can spend $150 on day 1 and be up to $5,000 in ad spend within 5 days because it just works so well. And again, there's a lot to it, but I'm happy to answer any questions about it. Does that give a pretty good explanation from a high level view?
Yeah, absolutely. The way that everybody seems to be doing Facebook advertising these days is just what you mentioned. It's broad targeting. They rely heavily on Facebook's algorithm to go out and find the best possible people. The problem that I have seen with Facebook is, sometime early in this year, something happened. And all of a sudden, that strategy started becoming like shockingly ineffective. And it wasn't just for me. It seems to be that almost everybody is suffering from the same reality. And that is, they launch ads, they can find winners day 1, and they get excited. Day 2, those ads stop working. And, by day 3, they got to start all over again. And even when they find winners, there used to be a scenario where your winners actually lasted for a period of time. You got a little bit of runway out of them. But these days, it's not only is it extremely hard to get winners, it's extremely hard to maintain those winners. They just burn out super quickly. How does your strategy of, micro budgets, how does it address that? And number one, actually, are you seeing that that's the case with that broad targeting strategy? Are you seeing that is like an issue that a lot of guys are having? And if yes, how do you think that is best solved? Is it best solved with micro budgeting or something else?
So just to be really direct here and kind of to feed your ego just a little bit because you deserve it, people don't write copy like you can. That's the problem. So there's a lot of Facebook gurus who are like, okay, what you got to do is you got to do wide open targeting. Let Facebook figure out the creative. Most people aren't like you. They don't know how to think through the creative. They don't know how to write the ad. They don't understand how to write the hook. And then they're going to rely on Facebook to read the ad and figure out their audience. And it just doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people I know who are like, hey, but Russell Brunson did this. Yeah, because Russell knows how to create an offer and write copy. I'm not in that boat. That's like 95% of us out there. We need to be very specific and feed Meta's AI very specifically. So let me give you a perfect example. Now, I still do larger budgets. I would probably say 80% of everything I run for clients is micro budgets. We still test another 20. But the reason it gets really hard, Caleb, is everything that you had just mentioned. Let's say I start out at $250 a day. I may have a good 2 or 3 day run, but then my performance starts to fluctuate. And if I want to grow, I have to go ahead and adjust the budget 30%. I increase it 30%. I wait 72 hours. I'm going to see the performance fluctuate. Hopefully it evens out. And I'm going to play this game that I'm going to slowly turn the dial. Well, the problem is I kind of look at this as digging for gold. I can spend $200 a day and dig a big hole. And most people will agree with me when they see this. Once your ads have been running for 3 or 4 days, they're not going to get significantly better. You're not going to go from $10 leads on day 3 and all of a sudden it's going to start getting you, $2 leads within 4 or 5 days. You may go from $10 to 8 and back to 11, but you're not going to cut this in half. So let's just dig a lot of small holes and find out where we're going to hit the gold vein first. What I tell people, it's literally when we launch an ad, and I know that you've seen this in the past as well, you can take the exact same creative, the exact same audience, launch it, and do 5 different campaigns and get 5 completely different results. But you're like, it's the same creative, it's the same audience. I believe what Facebook does is kind of like an upside down funnel. This is how organic works, and I think that paid works the same way. When you start ads, Facebook's going to show your ads to a small group, right? They're going to find out, is it relevant? Is it not relevant? They're going to determine your CPMs, your click-through rate. And then the more relevant your ad is, the more that they're going to show it to. I believe that when you target a certain audience, it's almost like Facebook finds a new gold vein for you to go down. Like you're not targeting the entire audience of entrepreneurs. You're going to target this one section. So if I have one ad budget at $200, I'm just going to dig a big hole and hope for the best. Now, what I like to do is I'll take one ad creative. I'm actually designing this training right now. If I have one ad creative, I'm going to test it in 5 different audiences. I'm going to test this in my middle of funnel audience for $20 a day of people who know, like, and trust me, but haven't bought. And I'm going to test in 4 different cold audiences. Now, if I run these 5 campaigns at $20 a day, 5 different audiences, same creative, very quickly within the first day, I'm going to see some baseline KPIs. I'm going to be able to see, okay, what's my click-through rate overall for this creative? What's my landing page click? Am I getting leads? Am I getting sales? What does this look like in the first 2.5 days? Well, what happens is it's almost like I tap into 5 different gold veins. So let's just say that 3 of them don't work. But all of a sudden, I start to see sometimes my conversion rate double. Sometimes I'll see my opt-in rate double because these micro-budget campaigns are like in this gold vein that it forces Facebook to show the right ad to the right person. So with that being said, I only do wide open targeting once I've figured everything out. Now, Caleb, you know this because you've been through my programs. I have this thing called an AI promotional primer. Essentially, what we do is we use AI to figure out, okay, because everyone like usually creates an offer, then they figure out their avatar. It kind of needs to be the other way around. But what we do is we have people take screenshots. Here's your funnel. Here's your offer. Here's your goals. Step number 2. We're going to create 5 completely unique, I like to say radically unique avatars that have 38 different emotional triggers that we can write copy to. Now, I've taken a bunch of copy courses. I'm just not a great copywriter. So conceptually, I know what I need to write, but when it comes time to write copy, I don't necessarily know what I need to say to the right person. And I think this is what you do naturally, that like I just needed to figure this out over years. You know how to write that natural copy. So now what I do is I match my avatar's message to their emotional triggers to the landing page. And then I'm going to create something like what Google does called cohorts. I'm going to say, okay, I want to target entrepreneurs. That's pretty broad. Actually, I want to find out people who read entrepreneurial books. Give me a list, AI, of 20 entrepreneurial books that match my avatar, tie in with their emotional hooks that would tie into my offer. Now I get this list of entrepreneurial books that I can target on Facebook. So if I have specific ad copy in 5 different campaigns speaking to very specific people with very specific targeting, now I can get a really good idea of my baseline results versus broad targeting, broad copy, and hoping for the best. I can say when I do this very specific interest targeting, because everyone says interest targeting doesn't work, when you set it up in these cohorts, we're seeing a lower cost per conversion. we're writing more direct copy, and these micro budgets in 2.5 days, it's like I'm diversifying financials. So if 3 of them work and 2 of them don't, I'm just going to double down on the stuff that works. And when you double down, literally just duplicate the campaign, you can scale infinitely faster than you do at 30%, longer range budget. So you can get information faster. You're targeting the right person at the right time faster. You can make decisions faster if you're going to cut it and scale. So that's why I love the micro budget strategy.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that kind of knocked my socks off, I signed up for your training because I was just interested in seeing like exactly what you're doing on the media buying side of things. And what knocked my socks off was really what you're doing on the AI side of things also. I used to teach, creating prospect avatars. And when I think back on how I used to do it in comparison to how you're using AI to do it,
agreed.
It's night and day. What would have taken me several weeks of research and effort, you're using AI to create that in about like 15 minutes. And not only that, but you're able to do it across multiple different avatars. So you're able to come up with all of these different avatars, all of these different, pockets of prospects to target, and then using AI to create ads that are specifically catered to those prospects in those specific audiences. It just takes this whole job of media buying and it just simplifies it all down to something that I've actually never seen anybody simplify it down to this degree. Like, going through your training has allowed us to do a heck of a lot more testing in a heck of a lot more areas in 1/10 the effort, if not 1/100th the effort. And I think that, can you talk a little bit about just how profound AI has been for you in terms of your ability to do media buying, in terms of your ability to create winning ads for your clients? I mean, how obviously you've discovered such amazing things. I mean, how has it transformed everything that you guys are doing?
It's ridiculous. I just got back from a conference here in Austin, Jordan Hall's conference, which was amazing here. And essentially what we ended up doing is I was sitting down with a bunch of other agency buyers and I'm like, this is crazy. A typical employee for us would run 3, 4, if they're really lucky, maybe 5 ad accounts, and that's it. Well, I just wanted to see how many I could take on personally because the margin's thicker if I'm not paying any employees. I can manage 12 ad accounts between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. in 2 hours and be done for the day and then just work on my digital products, my coaching stuff, my training stuff. I could have never done that before. Now, the way that this works is kind of in 3 ways. Number one, I'm going to write copy for every single audience in different ad creative to make the copy match the ad creative that aligns with the emotional triggers of the avatar with the audience. So essentially what I'm going to be able to do is, let's say I'll take one creative. Well, I'm going to have AI research what are some cohort audiences, meaning people say that Facebook's taking away a bunch of targeting. Facebook says in their own videos, do as broad as targeting as possible. So just to be clear, I want to set the stage here. I did a comparison of how Meta is basically like a casino. So a casino is going to give you lots of advice of like, you should play the slot machines, which give you the worst return, right? You're not inside of a fancy casino looking around built on the backs of winners, right? So Facebook is going to give you a lot of suggestions. Target wider. No, I would target very specifically. The reason is when you use AI to really research, okay, what are some of these cohorts? And to be specific is, let's just say I'm going after entrepreneurs and I want to align the belief system of them being an entrepreneur. So what I may want to do is I may want to target authors who write entrepreneurial books. Typically, an author is not going to write a book on accounting and also write it on entrepreneurs. So if I target the book or I target the author, I can get really specific. Now, I know my targeting. So let's just say we're going to be targeting entrepreneurial books. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a video. Typically what's working really well for us right now is 90-second videos, 60 to 90-second videos. I like to say we like to pre-qualify the conversion, not just pre-qualify the click. So what's going to happen is we're going to run these 60 to 90-second videos. Well, I'm going to well, first of all, I'm going to have AI write me the video, right? Which is according to my offer, according to my AI avatar, according to their emotional hooks, give me 5 opening hook headlines that I can test. And by the way, testing this stuff with micro budgets makes it super easy and less expensive. But now I'm going to get some script ideas of exactly what to say that's going to speak emotionally to the person that aligns overall with my offer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video from the client, let's say it's 60 seconds long. I'm going to transcribe that video using something called Descript. So I get the transcription right away. And then I'm going to upload what I call my AI promotional primer. It's this 35-page document that knows my 5 avatars, knows my offer, it knows some winning copy, it knows some suggestions for my funnel. Well, if I upload this 35-page marketing brief, basically, and the transcription of the video, I can literally say, this is my favorite prompt, write 7 radically different headlines that match the emotional triggers of my avatar and align with my offer to get me a 30% plus opt-in rate on my page. Now I'm going to get 7 completely different, unique headlines. I'm going to choose the 5 best. And then I'm going to have AI write me 7 long form posts in between 1,800 to 2,200 characters, 7 radically different long form posts that go along with this video script, along with my avatar, and 7 short form posts. So Caleb, I don't even edit AI stuff anymore. All I do is I read through all the 7 headlines. I like this 4 or 5, copy, paste. Okay, let me read through the long form post. Dan Kennedy said readers are buyers. So some people will say, Curt, these posts are too long. Caleb bought off of one of my organic long form posts. That's the whole point, is we want to write these longer form posts. That's what's going to help pre-qualify the AI to even find people better. So Caleb, now what I do is I upload this AI avatar, transcribe the video, upload a picture of my funnel, hit enter, and all of a sudden now I have all these options that I don't have to edit the copy. I just read through the copy, paste, and then setting up in these 5 different micro budget campaigns. There's my testing. I can literally you could send me a video and within 10 minutes, I'd be up running and testing in my 5 different audiences to see how your creative does. And I'll know within $100 if your creative works or not.
Yeah. And by the way, just the whole long form copy scenario, like we've been doing a lot of testing. Unquestionably, at least for video sales letters, long form ads, obviously videos are 60-second, 90-second videos crush it. When it comes to text ads, long form ads are what's getting the highest returns promoting video sales for us. Yeah. By the way, if you're enjoying the show, and I hope you are, because Curt is revealing such valuable tactics and strategies here for Facebook advertisers, please go ahead, do me a favor, and press the like button. Subscribe to this channel for more useful monetization tips. And for heaven's sake, turn on notifications so you don't miss all of the great tips, tactics, and strategies that are coming up in future episodes. And of course, as always, thank you for sharing this particular episode with your friends and colleagues. I really appreciate it. So there's like a kind of a lingering belief out there that Facebook somehow, some way is able to identify ads that are AI created ads, and it somehow, doesn't like AI created ads, and it tends to like give AI generated ads lower performance, higher cost per click. Is that anything that you're seeing on your end?
I would absolutely agree with that. Now, here's what I mean by that with a little disclaimer. Everything I just talked about is exactly what Facebook's looking for. So if you really think through your offer, your avatar, you're writing emotional copy that attaches to your avatar, and you're really, writing a good story. So for instance, I like to write stories, which I like to say is in a Disney storytelling framework, which gives just this interesting storytelling that people are interested in reading. They see themselves in the person's shoes, kind of taking that next action. I think that makes it really interesting. But then you go in the back of Facebook to create an ad, and they have AI suggestions. It doesn't know your offer. It doesn't know your avatar. It knows nothing about your copy. It just takes 2 or 3 lines of copy you had above and respins a little bit differently. That AI copy is the worst. So it's funny because people are like, hey, Facebook's going to detect AI copy. By the way that I write it with AI, it's a lot smarter than me. The way Facebook wants you to write with AI, again, the casino, it doesn't know anything about your business. It hasn't asked you any questions about your business, but it's giving you AI copy suggestions. So I believe if you prompt right, it's actually going to write a lot better than what I can. And if you use Facebook's AI, it's going to give you a worse result because, again, it doesn't know anything about your business, your avatar, or your offer.
There's a lot of guys out there that are saying, hey, the cost of traffic right now due to the election has exploded. And it's just very hard to succeed, in a lot of niches right now, just due to high cost per clicks. How is this micro budgeting strategy and this idea of different avatars for different interest audiences and things like that. How does that combat that high cost per click in any way? Like what are you seeing on your end?
Okay, that's a great question. So it depends on how specific that you get. I find that the more specific that I get, not in a narrow targeting, but more specific in who I want to get to right to, I call this, and you know this in my training, called ethical propaganda. I want to make sure I'm getting in front of the right person at the right time. So we do this for engagement ads and not for conversion ads. But what we'll do is we'll run this $1 a day strategy. I'm actually writing the training as we go through this because I have the training to deliver here in the next 90 minutes. Essentially, what's going to happen is we use this $1 a day strategy to start to pre-qualify people. So let me give you a perfect example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a $1 a day strategy targeting my warm market. I call it my middle of funnel. We kind of call it Hot 28, people who have been engaged with us for the last 28 days. So if Caleb has a video, let's say that's 60 seconds long, and they want to test it, they're kind of curious, how's this ad going to do? I'm going to take this for $1 a day, and I'm going to run this ad as a video view ad or engagement ad, and I'm going to run this for 5 to 7 days. For, again, $1 a day, targeting my middle of the funnel, running this one creative. Well, what I'm going to be able to tell from that $1 a day within 5 to 7 days, because Facebook's targeting the right person at the right time, I'm going to be able to see, are people stopping the scroll? Did they stop and want to watch the video? Did they actually stop the scroll and watch for 15 seconds? Those people that watched for 15 seconds, did they actually end up watching the rest of the video? Is it highly relevant? So for $5 to $7, I can start to see some of these metrics, and I can come back to Caleb and say, hey, look, the 5 videos that you gave me, 3 of them, their hook's just not very good, but these other 2, people are really watching for a long time. Let's turn these into conversion ads. Now that we're running these videos as conversion ads, we know that these videos work. We know that they're highly relevant. So are we seeing some additional high ad cost and CPM? Absolutely. We are absolutely seeing that. But with the micro budgets, like the $1 a day, I can pre-qualify video views to make sure it's highly relevant. The more relevant your ad is, the lower cost your overall CPM. What you're going to notice throughout this entire conversation, we've been talking for about 30 minutes right now, we're really talking about ad creative. So when Black Friday really hits, Cyber Monday, when the political stuff's hitting, if you're launching a brand new campaign and you're testing lots of ideas, absolutely it's expensive. But if you're testing very strategically with these micro budgets, you can easily start to say, I'll give you a perfect example, Caleb. I have a client in the real estate space. We've been doing these weekly webinars, and we change up the theme every single week until we really got the right one down. Well, I started running micro budgets about 2 weeks ago for them for this brand new webinar. All of a sudden, I launched 15 different ads all at once. So I already know the numbers from the last webinars. Typically, we get $7 to $10 leads on our webinars. Instantly, within the first day, we're getting $35 leads. There's nothing out of all 15 campaigns, we're getting $35 leads. Day number 2, we're getting $30 leads. It's not getting any better. Within 2 days, I called the client. I say, hey, look, we've been doing this for weeks. We know our lead cost is down. This one idea doesn't seem to be resonating with the market right now. The CPM costs are really high. Even when people get to our landing page, they're not opting in. I don't think this is the right time in the market. We should pull this. So within $500, we pulled an entire webinar right away because it wasn't adding up. But again, if you're just kind of like testing different creatives top of funnel, hoping for the best, a lot of this is you're going to get caught up in extra ad expenses, higher expenses. With these micro budgets, in my opinion, within 48 hours, you can make a decision. Do we blow or go, right? Are we going to run for the hills and scale this thing? Or do we cut it? So yeah, we do see more expensive rates during these times. But when done strategically, you'll know how to cut ads a lot faster. And again, what works, you just duplicate and run with. And that just seems to work like gangbusters right now. And it has for years.
I love the $1 a day thing. It's actually, I haven't started using it, but to me, it's rather profound. The idea that you can kind of pre-test ads before testing them. You can see, hey, of this little batch of ads here, just strictly from a views perspective, which ones are going crazy, which ones are not. But what comes to my mind is there are ads that, can have poor performance on a cost per click perspective and still be winners. Like, how do you manage that when you understand that maybe the best maybe the lowest cost per click is not the most profitable ad.
It's almost like you've looked over my shoulder, like watching me prepare the training that I'm going to do later today. I have a slide exactly on this. So what's interesting, I actually have a little Facebook video that Facebook comes out and basically says, hey, look, when you're seeing rising CPM costs, that could be because of demand in the market, that could be because, of seasonality overall, or maybe just not as many people in the audience is as interested in this topic as much anymore. So what happens is, this is crazy. A good click-through rate to us marketers typically means that lots of people are clicking on ads, which is great. Well, as long as they're clicking on ads and completing the conversion, that's really what Facebook is looking for overall. So what happens is when you start getting a lot of people to click on your ad and it's relevant, like they're clicking on the ad, it's relevant, they're opting in. Facebook says this in the video that you'll see in my training. Your CPM cost will go up because Facebook's finding the right person. Your click-through rate will start to go down because Facebook's finding the right person, but your opt-in rate percentage will start to go up and your cost per lead will start to go down. But wait a minute, everything that we know as marketers, this cost goes up, the click-through rate goes down, like none of that makes any sense. So I actually have a screenshot in today's training where you take a look and it's like, okay, if we're running 5 different campaigns, let's just take a look overall. What's our best metric? And my best metric, in my opinion, let's say we're running a webinar funnel, is what's the opt-in rate overall? So if I'm getting a $5 lead and a 20% opt-in rate, not interested as much as if I'm getting a $10 lead and an 80% opt-in rate. So what I'm constantly doing is I'm looking, okay, is my ad relevant? That's the most important thing. Then the second thing is I'm looking at my lead cost, but I'm also looking at my conversion rate. I'll give you a perfect example. We have a client that does a high-end ticket service from anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000. And essentially what we do is we're getting these leads that are booked calls. We've been getting leads for $35 to $40, which have been great. The problem is the quality hasn't really been that good. So what we did is we really doubled down on the creative. We upped the quality a little bit. We used some reverse exclusions. All of a sudden, our lead cost is going up to $75. I'm kind of freaking out because the client doesn't like to go above 50. I get a phone call from the client last night. Oh my God, Curt, we have more signed up clients this week than we have in the last month and a half. And I'm like, but you got half the leads, but the quality is better. If we take a look at it, the revenue per customer is double what it's been over the last 60 days because Facebook's fine-tuned. You want to focus on the right numbers, not do we have the best click-through rate, do we have the best CPM? Are they converting? What's that conversion number? Are they still converting at this higher rate? And then what's the lead quality on the backside? So I'm always looking at conversion rates and overall quality, what we see coming in the funnel before I judge everything else.
So how does that then align back to the idea of $1 a day if the metric that you're looking for in order to progress an ad to a conversion ad is views? Perhaps maybe the ad that is not getting the most views could be more profitable than an ad that's getting the most views.
Absolutely. So what I do is I run the $1 a day really. So I can just, I run the $1 a day strategy for 2 reasons. Number one, I want to test overall video creatives because if I tell Facebook to do nothing else but to go out and get people to watch the video, I can see if people are watching the video or not. So for instance, I've had we have a product called AI Ad Craft where we show people how to do a lot of this stuff with AI to set up the ad. Well, I had 7 different ideas, which I appreciate. Thank you. I had 7 ideas for the VSL. So the easiest thing that I could do is test the $1 a day for these 7 different videos. And within 5 to 7 days, I can see, are people even watching my hook? Like, are they even going to be interested? I'm testing like 15 to 30 minute VSLs as well too. So it really helps me understand what are people watching, what are they not watching. Now, I would say 8 times out of 10, if I find that people are watching a specific video and I turn that into a conversion ad, the watch times are a little bit less because it's a conversion ad, not a video view. But people still stop the scroll at the same rate. They start watching for 15 seconds at the same rate, and they end up usually progressing through the video kind of at the same rate. So I like to use the $1 a day strategy just to kind of understand, will people watch this? Now, the second thing is to dovetail into your question. The second reason I use the $1 a day is to test content. But there's my cheesy balloons. But what I do is I call this ethical propaganda. So let's say that Caleb, that you're hosting a webinar, you're going to talk about, a new feature that you found in online marketing. As soon as someone opts in, we know today for webinars, the show up rate is horrible and no one watches the replays. But one of the best things that you can do, which by the way, we have a mutual friend, Patty Dominguez, that you used in a lot of testimonials. I helped Patty get started in this business years ago. So for perfect example, as soon as they would opt in, I would play a video of Patty for $1 a day targeting your new leads who opted in for your webinar. So if I have 10 different ads that are different testimonials who are talking about Caleb, how smart he is, the things that he's done, his webinars are amazing. Now what's going to happen is people are going to log into Facebook and they're not just going to see, hey, thank you for registering for the webinar. Don't forget to show up. Don't forget to show up. Now they're going to see, because Facebook doesn't show the same ad to the same person twice for the $1 a day strategy. If you're running 10 different testimonials to just your leads who opted in for the webinar, every time they log into Facebook, they're going to see a different testimonial. So then we also like to run ads for $1 a day to the leads that say, hey, don't forget, our webinar is going to happen this Thursday at 3:00. It's really important. Showing up is half the battle. I can't wait to see you there. So Facebook's going to then target all these different ads. They're like, man, every time I log in, I just signed up for this webinar. I see everyone talking about Caleb. Like, I got to get on this webinar. I've heard there's some amazing things on the webinar. So I'm going to use the $1 a day to pre-qualify people even more for my offer. And I'm going to pre-qualify the content that 8 out of 10 times is going to work better for a conversion ad versus, hey, am I just going to run this and see what happens for $100? I can see how organically is it going to work, and will this work for conversion ads, or should this just be a video that people just watch for ethical propaganda?
Awesome. Is it as black and white to say that the solution to Facebook ads that are just not consistent in performance, ads that are profitable on day one, not profitable on day two, is it fair to say that the answer to that is relevance? That,
Absolutely.
That is the cure for that issue, because almost everyone I speak to, I even know some of the top marketers that, have responded to you on Facebook. I'm looking at what they're saying and they're all saying the same thing. They're all just talking about how shockingly inconsistent Facebook is these days. But is relevancy,
Absolutely.
is extreme relevancy perhaps the cure for that issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a friend of mine, John Moreau, the other day. John sold like $25 million in courses over the last 7 years. He's a world-renowned copywriter he's brilliant. And he goes, Curt, you know what beats my copy every single time? I go, what's that? He goes, testimonials. And I go, well, that's interesting. Now, John's somebody who writes copy like the first word must go with the third word, the fifth word must go with the second word. He's methodical and brilliant. He goes, Curt, all I really do is I work to get as many testimonials as possible now. Because with user-generated content and those testimonials, it's so relevant. So I don't care if you're e-commerce, if we're doing webinars, coaching, high-ticket coaching, the more testimonials we have, the better, because it shows more relevance. I mean, Caleb, you've been doing this a long time. I just bought a Guru's product the other day because I was curious on how they set up Facebook ads. It's 4.5 years old. It doesn't serve the marketing justice. So he should be paying really expensive ad costs because it's not relevant. So what I find is with the micro budgets, the $1 a day or the $20 a day, I can tap into all these different gold veins, figure out what Facebook decides is relevant, not relevant, what they do find relevant. I just duplicate and double down on, and that just seems to work a lot better than just increasing the budget on one campaign, trying to run with one idea.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about the settings in Facebook? I have been doing it a lot, and I've never seen somebody with such an extensive understanding of all of the various buttons to click and things to check and uncheck. Can you talk a little bit about how not knowing that stuff when setting up your ads can sabotage your success? I found that particular aspect of the training very enlightening.
So again, I'll say this over and over. It's a great question. So I'll say this over and over. Facebook's like the casino. So a lot of times you're going to log in your ad account and Facebook's going to say like, hey, you should hit this button to do these 5 things. It will increase your conversions by 30%. Then you click the little icon for the button. It will say, out of the 32 people surveyed in the medical field, this will increase your conversions. I have a webinar that has nothing to do with the medical field. You mean you're $1 billion company and you surveyed 32 people? You haven't asked me any questions about my business. You don't know any goals that I have. You don't know anything about me. And you're giving me a suggestion on my business. So 10 out of 10 times, it's a blanket statement. And I unequivocally mean this. And I even tell Facebook reps this. Every time you see a Facebook suggestion, pretty much 10 out of 10 times, They're going to give you a suggestion where you'll spend more money, kind of like almost like ClickFunnels. You're just one funnel away. Like you're just one ad away if you hit this button. No, it doesn't know anything about your business. So what I do is I force Facebook to do exactly what I want to do. I'm a marketer that has been trained in marketing, and I don't want Facebook to figure it out for me because like the casino, they're just going to take more of my money to figure it out, and they have billions of dollars, and I don't have billions of dollars to invest into it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I like to run my campaigns when I do conversion campaigns. I like to do this at the campaign level called campaign budget optimization. So what I do is I may test at the ad set level 2 or 3 different audiences. So I'll have one budget for $20 a day at the campaign level. And then I might be testing a lookalike audience here, my middle of funnel audience here, another top of funnel audience right here. But I'll let Facebook figure out what kind of audience that they should serve. I call this the 1-3-1, where essentially I have one campaign at $20, 3 ad sets testing 3 different audiences, and then one ad, the exact same ad targeting these 3 different audiences. I'm just going to let Facebook kind of figure it out. One thing I'm not going to let Facebook figure out, actually 2 things I'm not going to let Facebook figure out, is the first one is Advantage Plus audiences. Facebook basically says, hey, look, hit this button and you'll get a 33% more conversions if you choose Audience Plus. Now, Audience Plus just means AI for Facebook. So they have Audience Plus budgeting, Audience Plus audiences. Every time you see Advantage Plus, think Facebook AI. So the first thing is we're going to teach you how to use AI, how to target very specific targets on Facebook. Not wide opening, so you have this broad copy, very specific targets. Now, Facebook's going to say you can increase your targeting by clicking on Advantage Plus. It's kind of like a new lookalike audience. So Facebook will take a look at your audience and then go out and find people that are similar to that. I like to make sure my ads are proven first with a very specific audience. Then I'll hit that button Advantage Plus to really expand on that audience. Now, the big thing where I think most people lose money, and I'm happy to dive in this as far as you would like, is automatic placements. That is the ultimate casino machine. Because Facebook is basically always coming up with new placements that they can run your ads. Like for a perfect example, they came out with this a couple of months ago, your friend's feed. So if you go to someone's profile that you know, and you're scrolling down all their posts, you'll see ads now that, of course, your friend doesn't get paid for, but Facebook gets paid for. So that could be a good placement. But Facebook creates these placements where they'll never see your long-form post. So if Caleb just says, hey, these long-form posts and this long-form content's doing really well, I'm going to make this up, but there's like 30 different placements that you can use in Facebook. If you let Facebook just choose all the different placements, 9 out of 10 times where they show your ad, the customer will never see the full headline, and they'll never be able to read the entire post. So typically for longer form videos over 2 minutes and long form posts, we only run them in the Facebook newsfeed, the Instagram newsfeed, and Reels. That's it. Because there's all these other placements that are set up that literally you can't read the copy. And people can't watch the videos. I'll give you a perfect example. If you have a 2-minute video that's going to pre-qualify people and you just use automatic placements, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a report and force Facebook to show us where did they serve all these placements. Your 2-minute video, most of the time is served what they call as an in-stream placement. It's going to play your video for 15 seconds. People are either going to be able to skip it, but they'll never be able to watch more than 15 seconds of your 2-minute video. So Facebook's just taking your money. So choosing your placements, in my opinion, is critical. Choosing your audience is critical. Once all of it starts to work out, then you can build on top of it. But yeah, choosing placements is one of the best ways to stop losing money that Facebook just sucks from people.
It was awesome and shocking for me to hear all of this stuff because I absolutely use automatic placements. Is it even a fair question to ask? Do you have any idea, like on average, how much of an advertiser's ad spend is probably and most likely being wasted on, placements that just they're just bad placements?
A ton. What used to happen is that Facebook has this thing called, audience audience network, right? Kind of like Google's audience network. And it used to be where like 80% of your budget would run to these third-party sites and nobody used it anymore. What happens is a lot of times is I'll get a client, they're like, hey, Curt, this just isn't working for me. So I'll pull up a placement report. Where did all of your ads show? And it's like, there were some ads shown in stories, not a lot. So we spent a couple of dollars there. Then there's some ads in this like in stream, just not a lot of money spent there, but like most of the money spent in the Facebook and Instagram newsfeed. So like I go back to clients and I go, well, why would we spend these dollars here, dollar there, kind of like in office space, right? It's only half a penny. It's not that big a deal. It is when you're $1 billion company, because that's where the casino makes extra money from these penny slots, 5-cent slots. That's where they make most of their money. So what I want to do is, if the placements aren't serving me, why would I give Facebook even a penny or an extra dollar to serve a placement that doesn't serve me? I want the placements where Facebook's absolutely going to serve me. And I don't want them to do it. I don't want them to, it's like the government knocking on your door. I don't want you to do me any favors. I just want you to do exactly what I tell you to do. But yeah, there's a lot of money wasted because people just don't know, and they don't know where to look. And so many times people will come to me and they'll be like, hey, Curt, I got this 2-minute video. It's not working like you said it would. I'll pull it up. 80% of the budget goes to in stream. And I'm like, you literally hit that one button and turn that off. You'll see your ads go from, hey, this doesn't work at all, to, oh my God, people are watching and opting in with literally just that one button click.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I must admit, dude, I was really very, very impressed by your training.
I appreciate
why don't you talk a little bit about like your, where people can go, how people can hook up with you. The best possible compliment that I could pay you is I bought your training. I freaking love it. I had a chat with another buddy of mine who does a lot of advertising, and I was saying to him, really, it's probably the most, like, as a company with media buyers, one of the most important things I think to have is a systematic approach to success with driving traffic. And something, like what you don't want in a company is, some media buyer that just has, he has a sixth sense for things. That's a terrible person.
And can't explain it. Yep.
Can't explain it. Is brilliant at it, but when he's not around, you're doomed. So like what I was saying was, I think that this is the first time I've seen like a very complete systematic approach that could be rolled out across a media buying team that not only, is systematic, but whoever is running that team now has a way of holding all media buyers accountable to that type of system. And therefore, for that reason, I just, that and several other reasons, I think the AI stuff was really off the hook. What you just mentioned there, like if you signed up for no other reason for what Curt has to offer here, and you just figured out what to check and uncheck, it'd probably be worth an absolute fortune to you. But there's so many things that I really liked about your training. There's so many things that I haven't even gotten stuck into yet, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into. So how about you just take a few minutes to chat about your training there, and maybe your agency and what it is that you do and where people can go to find out more information?
Yeah, you can find out more about me at yourad.coach. So yourad.coach. And if you want to know specifically about micro budgets, just go to yourad.coach/genius. Then I know that you listen to this. So yourad.coach/genius, and you'll learn all about the micro budgets. So essentially we have 3 parts of our business. Business number 1, inside of our circle group. If you want to learn more about these trainings, what I call ethical propaganda, $1 a day, how to work with AI, you can get these foundational trainings for less than $100 pretty easily. What we want to do is just lead with value and show you, hey, if you just do this one thing, watch these results. And if you want to build from that, that's great. We also have group coaching, where we also do like 90-day sprints with people. If people are trying to figure out their offer, we can help implement the micro budgets for them to help establish some baselines. And it really helps a lot of people really know for sure, did this actually work or not? Meaning, like, did the offer work? Is it the creatives? What do I need to fix next? A lot of people hire us for that. And then on the full service agency, if you're spending over $20,000 a month online and you already have an offer that's proven, but you want to expand out, you don't know if it's expanding out on Meta or Google, or should I do TV or radio? Love to set up and have a call with you. Typically, you just got to be spending $20,000 a month or more. That just means that you have an offer that's built out. And then we just take our team and then run with it from there. Again, with lots of different traditional services or online services as well. And yeah, love to be able to chat if anybody would like to have a discussion.
Well, everything that you do, dude, all the trainings and everything definitely has my highest recommendation. So anyone and
I
everybody
appreciate
who's
that.
listening here, I cannot recommend enough that you go check out Curt's stuff. I think it's absolutely awesome. So, Curt,
Thank
you
you.
rock, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. You shared lots of awesome stuff, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you.
So there you have it. I would love to know, based on what Curt and I were talking about here today, what was your biggest takeaway? For me, it was Curt's point about relevance being the solution to ads staying profitable for longer. That to me was absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to start implementing that in my own Facebook advertising. And I would love for you to tell me what you thought of that or whatever your biggest takeaway was yourself. Share your thoughts below, and I look forward to hearing from you. And if you have a question about marketing, advertising, or monetization that you would like my help with, all you got to do is send me an email to caleb@monetizationresearch.com, and I'll do my best to include my response in an upcoming episode. In the next episode, I will be handing over the reins and handing over the mic to my good friend and colleague, Robert Scrobe, one of the foremost experts in the world on customer retention. And Rob is going to be interviewing best-selling author Andrew Locke, who's going to be revealing why Disney is one of the most successful and admired companies in the world. And not only that, but Andrew is going to be sharing how any business owner, regardless of your niche or industry, can use the same secrets and strategies as Disney to grow your sales and profits. It is going to be one heck of an interview, so stay tuned for that. I cannot wait to grab it myself and check it all out. And as always, the best way to stay in the loop with all things monetization is to join my free newsletter called Monetization Daily. You can get it at monetizationresearch.com. We will send you our favorite news, tips, tactics, and discoveries about how to monetize your business, which is ultimately all about increasing your profits. Again, head on over to monetizationresearch.com and sign up for my free newsletter.